And tonight we are continuing to follow the developing story surrounding Herbert Cain. As we reported, Politico.com is claiming that at least 2 women accused Cain of inappropriate behavior way back in the early 1990s. However, the article conveniently leaves out very key details. But that's not surprising, considering the left-wing media has a lengthy track record of breathlessly attempting to take down Republican presidential candidates while shamelessly protecting their Democratic friends. Like, for example, John Edwards, who ran for president twice, but news of his affair, his love child, were only exposed by a National Enquirer investigation. That was after the campaign had ended. Joining me in studio with much more on the double standard, the author of the New York Times huge, massive bestseller, Demonic, Ann Coulter is here. Last time on the program, called me a gossipy old woman and a brat, and because I liked your boyfriend.
To the enjoyment of everyone in this room.
Yes,
it's true. Okay, now back to Herbert Cain.
Well, let's stay on this topic. All right, go ahead.
Look, the important point is, as we have all suffered through for the last 3 years, any criticism of Obama from Donald Trump, the Tea Party,
racism,
people who don't like Obamacare is, oh, you must be racist. No, I think we're upset because he's wrecking the country. Maybe that figures into it. We're against socialized health care. And this is why liberals detest conservative blacks. I mean, they harangue blacks and tell them you can't be a Republican, you can't be a Republican. It is so hard for a black to be a Republican. And then when we don't have that many Republicans or blacks showing up at a Republican event, oh, you have no blacks there. Well, maybe if you weren't haranguing them so much. In any event, this is now the second time a conservative black has had outrageous and what appear to be false allegations of a sexual nature leveled against him by the left, Clarence Thomas, of course. And it's ironic because these sexual harassment laws, ironic in a cruel, vicious, horrible way, civil rights laws were designed to protect blacks from Democrats, from Democrat laws, from Democrat segregators, from Democrat governors, and Democrats in the White House wouldn't protect them. That's why we have civil rights laws. From that, you get the anti-discrimination laws and the sexual harassment laws. Now you got liberal women using laws to protect blacks in order to attack conservative blacks with these vicious, outrageous charges.
You know, and that's why I went through the list of comments by liberal women that protected Bill Clinton.
Oh, yes.
But wait a minute. But then they were all outraged about Clarence Thomas. Think of the just absolutely vicious comments that mutual friends of ours, conservative African Americans in this country, go through hell and are called the most vile, vicious names.
Right.
But yet the media here, I think this is journalistic malpractice on their part, because they run with the story, there's no real sourcing, and, quote, they now tell us they're not going to get into the details.
Right.
If you're not going to give us the details.
Right.
Don't give us the story.
Right. No, that's right. And everyone knows that an awful lot of these sexual harassment lawsuits, the bar has been set so low by court cases. I mean, things like a man having a photo of his own wife in a bathing suit on his desk. That has been considered a hostile environment. Silly comments made at a meeting, comments overheard, not even directed at a woman in the workplace, has been used as grounds for sexual harassment.
Do you realize, as friends, the conversations and the things we joke about on a regular basis, what you always say about me, I am your, don't say it. But, you know, when you say that, do you realize in any work environment, we would both...
No, it's absolutely true.
Because people are humorless. And I'm not saying real sexual harassment doesn't
exactly,
occur.
but they don't care about real sexual harassment, as we know from Bill Clinton. He dropped his pants and said, kiss it to Paula Jones. He
pushed up against the wall Kathleen Willey, Juanita Broderick.
He was credibly accused of raping Juanita Broderick. He groped Kathleen Willey, and in response to that, Gloria Steinem, the great grandee of the feminist movement, wrote an op-ed piece in the New York Times announcing the new rule for sexual harassment, at least in the case of a pro-choice Democrat, which is the boss gets one free grope.
Yeah, that was the new rule.
She said, well, he groped her, but when she said no, he took no for an answer. So if you're a pro-choice Democrat,
you get a free
Southern man, one free grope. If you are a conservative black, they will believe the most horrible sexualized fantasies of these uptight white women feminists.
And Clarence Thomas used the term high high-tech lynching. Is
Yep.
that high-tech? Is that accurate?
It absolutely is. It
All right.
absolutely is, and it's coming from the exact same people who used to do the lynching with ropes. Now they do it with a word processor.
In the Democratic Party.
Yes. Yes, we had to have national federal civil rights laws to protect blacks from Democrats, as described in a full chapter in my book, Demonic, giving a revisionist history to their revisionist history of civil rights in this country. It was always Democrats. I mean, these liberal historians always describe it as Southerners. They weren't all Southerners, but you know what they were all? They were all Democrats.
But it seems the liberal establishment was threatened by Cain early on. Symbolic crack pipe, bad apple, currying white favor. He's the guy that the Tea Party gets to say is their black friend.
Right.
All these things have been said. What is it about Herman Cain that threatens liberal establishment thought?
Well, there are many wonderful qualities to Herman Cain, but to be honest with you, I think liberals are too dense to see them. All they see is conservative black man. Look at how they go after Allen West. Look at how they go after Michael Steele. I mean, all of them with wonderful qualities. I mean, that's why our blacks are so much better than their blacks. To become a black Republican, you don't just roll into it. You're not going with the flow. You have fought against probably your family members, probably your neighbors. You have thought everything out, and that's why we have very impressive blacks in our party.
Here's what's disappointing about this, because
no John Conyers in the Republican Party, no Maxine Waters in the Republican Party.
His mother was a maid. His father worked 3 jobs. He was a janitor, et cetera. He grew up poor, just like Clarence Thomas, his grandfather, my grandfather's son. Great book. He tells this whole story of growing up. They are role models for people of all races. No,
not only that. Yes, they are. And he was a math major. He was literally a rocket scientist.
Morehouse College.
Not only that, but the reason we do have a special place for blacks in American society is because there was slavery, because there was Jim Crow, thanks Democrats. The president who we have now, who has benefited from this, oh, isn't this great? We have our first black president. Well, he's half black, and he is not the descendant of blacks who suffered these Jim Crow laws, who suffered through slavery. I'm not contesting that he was born in America or anything, but he is the son of a Kenyan. He is not the son, the grandson, the great-grandson of American blacks who went through the American experience. That is Herman Cain.
All right. And Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
I'm glad you didn't call me a gossipy old woman.
You are.
A brat. I was not bratty tonight. Not even a little bit.
Hey, if you're going to fill up this time, I'm going to say more about how wonderful Cain and 999 are.
All right. And is that who you're supporting now?
Well, I want him for vice president, as you know.
All right.
Although after all this, I'm so hopping mad, I'm considering moving him to the top of the ticket.
All right. And Coulter, coming up, more on the fallout of the sexual allegations that are being made against presidential candidate Herman Cain. How could this impact the 2012 GOP field? Plus, you know Bob Beckles, a huge liberal. Did you know his brother is a Hollywood conservative? They're going to debate that and much more coming up straight ahead.
This program is brought to you by McGladrey Assurance, Tax, Consulting.